So, hey guys, still in the midst of the move, as you can see. But today, I'm going to be reviewing the first movie of 2021 for me. And this is a movie I have waited for since it got announced. I've been waiting for this movie since it got announced, and now I'm finally here. I finally get to talk about this movie in a review. And that movie is Psycho Goreman. Oh, this movie. I've been waiting for this movie for a while. Like, I've been waiting, and now that it finally came out, in the midst of, the same day as, like, watching the new episode of WandaVision and the new season for Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, which I'll try to review, assuming how the move goes. I'll try to review... my schedule's getting more and more chaotic, so yeah. But I really wanted to talk about this movie above all else. This is the thing I wanted to talk about today. Psycho Goreman. So you're probably wondering, what is Psycho Goreman? What is this movie even about? Well, it's about these two kids who have discovered a being from another world, and they befriend him while he tries to... well, they're trying to curb his bloodlust and anger. It's kind of like E.T. If E.T. wanted to pillage and murder everything. Actually, no, the E.T. thing is a little far from home. Just made it into... it's a little far from that. It's actually, if anything, the best way I can describe Psycho Goreman is if you mixed Ultraman and crossed it with Evil Dead. That's the best way I could describe it. Ultraman meets Evil Dead. That is the only way you can describe, or Power Ranger, any kind of, like, tokusatsu you could think of. But imagine if it, like, went to hell and got butt-fucked by a bunch of tentacle demons, and then it came back all twisted and messed up. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a graphic description, but hey, this movie is pretty graphic. So how do I explain this movie? Jesus. So... the movie, I have to explain real quick. This is you have to go in with the expectation from the title alone, and from the trailer I hope you catch before seeing the movie. You have to understand that this movie, do not take this movie seriously. It's very much in the vein of, like, Leprechaun in Space, or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. There's actually the better one. If you enjoyed movies that are like gory and just bonkers, or you did enjoy, I'm trying my best, and I know I'm stumbling over my words, but this movie is so hard to explain. The best way I can describe this movie is if you liked Killer Clowns from Outer Space, then there's a good chance you're gonna like this movie. You have to understand also that this is a low-budget movie. You have to go in with the expectation of, I just want to have fun. That is the best way to describe this movie, is you go in, you go have a good time. It's not a long movie. It's about a little over an hour and a half, so you got about a roughly 90-minute movie. It knows what it is, it knows what it wants to be, and goes on. It just goes on its merry way. It doesn't care if you want it to, if it doesn't get an Oscar or not. It's just a movie that wants to be fun. And after the shit show that was 2020, I needed a fun movie. I think we all deserved a fun, actually this isn't a family movie, so yeah, it does have, like, family themes. It's actually like a twisted version of that, so if you're into that, go ahead, I should have mentioned this before, that this is from the co-creator of The Void, and as well as the director of Leprechaun Returns. So, in other words, this is in good hands. Like, the director knows making gore and fun can be two things put together. I really love the monster designs in here. They're so dumb, but at the same time, like, if you watch Power Rangers, then you'd be like, yeah, this is nothing new. Like, some of the monster designs are really out there, but some of them are really cheap at the same time. And I think that's, like, a play on to, again, the tokusatsu, of, like, the tokusatsu, the major tokusatsu that you've seen, like Ultraman and Super Sentai and stuff like that. But it's not like it takes itself seriously either at the same time. Like, it's not trying to say, like, haha, this is stupid, aren't you stupid for liking this? It's more like, yeah, we like it, but imagine if we rip someone's spine out. Like, that's what it's trying to say, is like, yeah, we love this too. We were just like, yeah, but imagine if we could, like, rip someone's spine out and beat them to death with it, you know? Or tear out someone's entrails and make a sword out of it from bone and gore, which does actually happen, by the way. I think the main thing with this movie is that you can clearly see where the effects went into the practical effects. And buddy, if you love practical effects, if you really enjoy, like, just all-around fun practical effects, like The Thing, you are in for a good time with this movie. I'm going to say that flat out. If you enjoyed practical effects, then you are going to 100% love the shit out of this movie. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. If you're a fan of practical effects of, like, The Thing or any kind of other 80s style movies, you're going to enjoy it. That's the other thing. This movie really taps into, like, that 80s feel at the same time, which, to be honest, I'm getting a little tired of in seeing in movies like that 80s retro kind of thing. But, like, here, it doesn't bother me. Like, it didn't bother me that much because, like, I feel like they were just like, yeah, it's just kind of a theme we're going with, just roll with it. But I am, to be honest, getting tired of the 80s retro feel that, let's face it, Stranger Things kicked off. It's just kind of worn out its welcome. I think that's why we're kind of moving towards 90s nostalgia now, which is a weird thing. Saying nostalgic for 90s now, that's a sign of things have gotten bad. When you want to get nostalgic for the 90s, which no complaints here. I'm just saying, like, I was just like, yeah, I'm getting a little tired of this 80s retro stuff. It's come, and I feel like it's starting to overstay its welcome. But here it works, because here it's like, it's making fun of that at the same time. Like, it's making fun of that kind of 80s feel. Like, it just really, there's a really great joke in there that really kind of plays on that, and you'll see it when if you watch this movie. The movie is, like I said, 90 minutes long. I will say that it does kind of drag a little bit. It does kind of drag in the middle, like, it feels like, where are we going? And it does feel like it didn't know where it was going for a bit. But the humor, and especially one scene, and you'll know it when you see it, you're like, oh, okay, the effects really helped out here, so I'm cool with that. I'm totally fine with the little listing, but for an hour and a half movie, I feel like they were just like, okay, we need to make this a 90-minute movie. Can we just pad this out a little bit? And there is a montage. It's fun, but, like, at the same time, there is moments where it's like, all right, move it along. I feel like they wanted, like I said, they wanted to stretch this out to a 90-minute movie to get that 90 minutes, so they had to, like, pad it out a bit, because it's clear where like I said, the budget clearly went to was putting it into the creature effects and the gore effect, especially the gore effects. And there's just so much fun, like Psycho Goreman's backstory is really fun, especially like how they play that out. It's so cool. Also, I get the feeling that Psycho Goreman's, and I'm not 100%, I'm not sure, but I feel like the creators were trying to go for a Lord Zed feel, because if you look at Psycho Goreman, especially like out in the daylight, because they do have daylight shots of him, and it's very like almost like Lord Zed in a way, like how he moves, and just the body itself is very, like, for some reason I kept thinking Lord Zed. I just kept thinking of like Lord Zed. The other creature effects are pretty fun, but they are, like I said, this is where the budget really went to. And it is, I think it's supposed to be intentionally like, okay, it's clearly a man in suit, but like, as a fan of like tokusatsu, like Ultraman, Godzilla, and Power Rangers, that doesn't bother me. In fact, that was a selling point for me for this movie, was just being like, oh my god, it's like a nightmare version of a tokusatsu film. I love it. Although I'm pretty sure Japan's already beaten this movie to the punch of making a nightmare version of tokusatsu. Its name is Evangelion. But this is like, imagine if some kid from the 80s was watching Ultraman or like Getter Robo or something, and just like, I want to make this, but I also watch The Thing and my brain is going haywire. That's what this movie is. If you accept that this is a low-budget love letter to 80s Tokusatsu, Power Rangers, The Thing, all of those things, if you just acknowledge that this is just one giant love letter to all of those things and more, then you are in for such a good time. This movie was such a breath of fresh air after the shit show that was 2020, so I am so happy that we finally got this, because this movie did get pushed back. It was supposed to come out in 2020, but then it got delayed, and I'm glad it came out as soon as it did. This was the movie I was the most excited, one of the movies I was very excited for, and finding out that it was coming directly to Amazon, which you guys could probably find it on demand. That's actually where you guys will mostly find it, because I don't know, I've heard like there's select theaters, but I don't know where you could find it in the midst of a pandemic. So your best chance is going to like Amazon or VOD or one of those other places to like to stream it directly to watch it. This was such a good time. Man, this was such a great movie. Like the first movie of 2021, and we're off to a great start, guys. That was beautiful. Brings a tear to my fucking eye. So, you guys tell me in the comments below if you saw Psycho Goreman. What did you guys think of it? Did you guys like it? Hate it? Comment below, let me know. And I know I didn't really talk much about the story. I didn't want to spoil anything. Especially some of the gory scenes. I really don't want to spoil those. So this is an experience. This movie is an experience. So just comment below, let me know. And once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.